everybody, this is Julyn and Sleepyhead Abby. Welcome back to our channel and welcome to our home here in Santa Monica, California. In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys the rest of my plants that are living in my home. Alright, so before I get to all things plants and all plants living currently in my home, I wanted to give you guys a brief overview of my studio here in Santa Monica, California. As you can tell, this place is not naturally lit up throughout my home, so I do get a little creative with my space as far as for styling my plants and where I like to have them in my home. I have one window here, which is my kitchen window, where majority of my plants live, and then I have my natural lighting coming from this section of my house, which is my front door, and I have one window here, which is right above my bed, which is not really bringing in any light because there's a big tree back there, which is very unfortunate, but I do work well with my space with regards to the fact that I don't have a lot of natural lighting. There's a dark spot in this section, which is my dining table, and this section, which is my desk, and I have my one cactus living here, and then as you can see behind me right here is my coffee table, and I have one plant living here. Alright guys, so I'm going to talk about the next section of plants living in my home. This is what's currently living inside of my home next to my bed and also close to my one window that I have in my home that brings in natural lighting, which is right next to my shelf that I just went over. These plants do rotate throughout the weeks, and whenever I leave out of town, I do put all of them outside in my patio so that they do get light when I'm not here. I close my window when I'm gone, and so none of the plants in my home get lighting. So all of the plants living on my shelf go into my bathroom so they get natural lighting when I'm away, and these go outside. So there is a routine whenever I go in and out of town. I love having plants in my home, and the thing about my studio is there's a lot of different pockets in my studio where there is really no natural light happening, and I don't want to have these really finicky house plants in there. So I love grouping them like this because it gives a little jungle vibe, and if you're an island girl like me, then you appreciate lots of green in your home. So there's a bunch of plants here. I may or may not know their names, so let me know in the comments below if you guys can help me out. That'd be awesome. There's so much things going on, and I'm gonna just randomly go through my whole section right here. The first plant that I want to talk about in this collection is actually new in my collection. It's been with me for a little over a week, and I got this from Las Vegas, which I did a little haul on. If you guys are interested, go ahead and check out that video. It's currently living here in this section, and I think it works well because of different dimension and vibe that it gives. And this is an asparagus foxtail fern. Again, I love ferns, and I love the foxtail because it has such cool vibes to it and tons of character. I love that no matter which section you turn it to, there's so much dimension going on. Here's an interesting plant in my collection. I do not know the name of this plant, so if you guys do, please let me know in the comments below so that I can learn more about this plant. It was gifted to me earlier this year from my friend here in Las Vegas, so if you're watching this video, thank you. It was actually just half the size of this when I got it, and since then it's been doubled. It has interesting long foliages, and it has a splatter type of characteristic on the top of the leaf, and it's light on the bottom. And I do rotate this plant a lot. As you can see, it's going towards the window, so when I put it outside to get some sun in a couple of days, I'm gonna go ahead and rotate it this way. There's so much new growth happening in this plant. As you can see, there's a new baby leaf happening right here, which I absolutely love seeing because I know it loves its living environment. The planter that it's in is super tall and long, I think, which works well with this type of plant. And there's so much growth going on, and I love the fact that this plant is very tall compared to the other plants in my collection in this section, so it gives a lot of dimension to this area. My grandma thinks that it's like a rubbish tree from Hawaii, and I think a lot of the plants in my collection are like rubbish trees from Hawaii because they just grow wild on our island. But I love this plant because I love having different colors of greens in this section. So the next plant that I want to talk about is a really great find that I actually found in Trader Joe's Las Vegas. So definitely check your local Trader Joe's if you are near one for plants in their plant section, because you never know what you're gonna find. I got this one for probably $6 to $7 at the time. It was less than half the height of this and probably half the amount of leaves, and since then it tripled. I love the different dimension that it brings to my collection. As you can see, no matter which angle you turn, there's so much going on, and I love the shape of the leaf. But again, when you buy it from a grocery store, they're not really exact with names, but I want to say this is some kind of variation of a philodendron. As you can see right here, this is a very cute baby leaf that just blossomed, and I think it's growing well in my home. This has been outside for a little bit in my patio, and again, when I do leave for a couple days, all of my plants do go into my patio. I absolutely love this plant, and it works well with the planter that I scored on sale for 50% off at Star Nursery in Las Vegas. So I want to say that this planter cost me under $10, which I think is a steal. And again, it's that royal blue color that I absolutely love having in my collection as well. So I don't know if you can tell, but this is kind of hiding with the bunch of plants living in my home right now. So this is my newest plant in my plant collection, and I found this yesterday at Orchards, which is about a mile away from me. It's my local hardware store, and I wasn't, of course, looking for a plant, which kind of always happens to me, but when I seen this plant, I knew I had to get it. I see it all over social media on Instagram, and I've been wanting this plant for a very long time, and this is the first time I've ever seen it in person, and I couldn't pass it up because it was the last one. I absolutely love this plant. It's an alocasia, and it has so many babies growing on the bottom, and I think it works well with my planter that I got from TJ Maxx in Las Vegas. So I'm so happy that it has a home and it's living in my collection. The lady that actually rang me up told me she was so happy, sorta, I want to say, that I was purchasing this plant because she's like, it's the last one and you're buying it. There was only 3 and it came in like 5 days ago, and this was the last one. So I was really lucky at the time, going to the garden center yesterday and checking out what they had in their selection at the time. And when I seen this plant, I had to stop everything and just figure out if I was gonna buy it or not. And I was like, Julian, what are you thinking? Like, it was $13 and some change, which I think is a really good deal for this plant. I absolutely love the characteristics of this plant because it has shiny foliages and texture on the top part, and then if you turn around the plant, it has like a really mauve-y type of color going on underneath the leaf, and it's just such a really rad plant. I love this plant a lot. Let me know in the comments below if you have this plant and how do you take care of it, and where did you find it and how much you bought it for, because I think $13 for this plant is pretty good, and actually on the expensive side for me because most of my plants are under $10. 2 more plants in this section. I have 2 monsteras here, and I absolutely love having them in my home. So here is my beloved monstera, and this actually came from my main guy George, which is living outside in my patio, which is probably 5 times bigger than this. And I propagated this from maybe 1 or 2 leaves, and since then it's been giving me so many leaves that I had to put it in a beautiful white planter and style it in my home. As you can see, this is the newest baby leaf unfurling for me, and it's doing well in its living room environment here in my home. So this is the planter that I have it in, which is the same one as my alocasia but bigger. I got this from TJ Maxx Home Goods in Las Vegas, and as you can see, there's so much going on this monstera. It's very easy to propagate this and grow this in your home. They're not very finicky plants, so if you guys are looking for a house plant with a lot of characteristics, I recommend getting the monstera because you can't really kill this plant. It's so easy to propagate, and if you can see right here on the bottom, there is a new leaf coming out here as well, which I'm so excited about. So maybe next week this is going to be a new leaf, but for now I am loving the new baby leaf right here. Nice and shiny. So this is my last plant in this section, also purchased the same time as my other plant from Trader Joe's in Las Vegas, and at the time it was probably 3 times smaller than what it is right now. It's been growing a lot since I've had it in my collection. I have it in a blue type of ombre pot, which I purchased from TJ Maxx in Las Vegas. I don't know the name of this plant. I want to say it's a philodendron because of the heart-shaped leaf. And also I seen the same plant just like this label, split leaf monstera philodendron, in my plant nursery in Las Vegas. So let me know in the comments below, because again, when you buy plants from Trader Joe's, they don't tell you what kind of plant it is. But I purchased this for like $6, and at the time it was 3 times smaller than this, and I absolutely love having this in my collection. Alright guys, so this is the next section I want to talk about of my plant collection in my home. This is what's currently living on my countertop in my kitchen. As you can tell, this is the window where I get all of my natural lighting from, and the only window where I get natural lighting from, because my window behind my bed is not that great because there's a big tree in that section. So I like having these plants here living near the window, and I love having them in the glass mirror tray as well, which is similar to the one that I have displaying plants in my bathroom. This one I purchased from Marshall's in Las Vegas, and I love how it's able to have my plants, candles, and crystals all in one section without messing up the area where I do all of my food prepping. So also, as you can tell on the window ledge, I have all of my air plants, which I did a separate video doing an unboxing. So if you guys want to watch that video, go ahead and scroll through my plant collection videos and you can see me unboxing them. So this is where it currently lives. Hey, I'm so excited to share with you guys this awesome plant that is living on my kitchen countertop. It is my oxalis, or also known as the purple shamrock plant. It is so cool, guys. I absolutely love having this plant in my collection because it is purple, which is not your typical green in a lot of my plants in my collection. And I love the fact that it opens up during the day, like it is shown right now, and then at night it goes to sleep and it closes. When I originally bought this plant earlier this year in Santa Monica from my favorite plant nursery here, it was full and tons of blooms, and now it is very sparse looking and all of the blooms are gone. I can see a little bloom happening right here. I don't know what's gonna happen in a few days, but for now it's living in its new planter, which I replanted in yesterday, which I shared in a plant with me video. And I think it works well in this planter. Originally, it was in the planter that my alocasia is currently living in right now, but I think from losing its fullness, I wanted it to be in a smaller planter. So it's currently living on my tray on my counter. It's been living in this planter as of yesterday, and I think it works well. Originally, it was in the planter that the alocasia was living in, but after it lost its fullness, I didn't want it in such a big planter, so I think this size works really well. It has a drainage hole on the bottom, and this plant, again, I love to mist 2 to 3 times a week, and it's such a fragile plant. You just gotta be really careful when you handle them, and I just love the vibe that it brings to me. Alright guys, so this is the next plant I want to talk about that's living on my kitchen counter next to my oxalis, and it is my Pelia plant. I only have one in my collection, unfortunately. I wish I had more, but I'm very thankful that I do have at least one because this is very rare to find in the US. I did do a feature on this for Meet My Plants. If you guys are interested in hearing me talk more about this plant, then watch that video. I love that I see a new baby leaf peeking through here, so I'm kind of interested to see what it's gonna look like next week when I get back from my Las Vegas trip. I absolutely love having it in this planter, and it'll probably live in this planter for the rest of the year. So this is a quick overview of my handful of air plants. I have all of them still alive from my unboxing video. If you guys are interested in watching that, go ahead and find it on this channel. Air plants are very hard to keep track of if they're growing or not. It is a slow growth type of plant. I do see a little bit of red here on the tip of this plant, and I also see a little growth here on the bottom of this plant. Otherwise, there's not much happening in this part of my plant collection. I did have a huge air plant in my collection, which I purchased in Santa Monica, and I think maybe after a month of having it, it died on me, and I want to say from root rot. So you have to be very careful when you do water them, that you do shake them off and get the excess water out of these little crevices of the plant. That's probably what happened to my big air plant, and I'm really sad about that, but I do see some new growth in this little guy, so I think I'm doing pretty good. So I'm not gonna get mad at myself for killing one air plant. I can always go ahead and get another one in the future. I'm just glad that all of these ones that I did unbox earlier this year is doing well. So welcome to my coffee table in my studio. I have one plant living on it currently right now. It is my peperomia, which I found in Las Vegas from Star Nursery, and at the time it was just half the size that it currently is right now. And the planter that it's living in is also purchased from the same nursery, Star Nursery in Las Vegas. I absolutely love having this plant here because it gets natural lighting from both my kitchen window and from my front door. It's doing really well. It's been growing so many new different leaves, and I love the dimension of the plant. So I love having this plant on my coffee table because it spans in different directions. It's a hardy plant and not hard to kill, and it has different textures on the leaves, so I think it works well in this space. I'm gonna wrap up the video here, which is at my front door in my studio in Santa Monica, with my last plant currently living in my home as part of my plant tour collection home edition. These are all of the plants currently living in my home, and this guy here is my absolutely beautiful African milk. Originally when I bought it in Las Vegas at Star Nursery, it was half the size, and since then it has doubled. I have it in this beautiful teacup planter, which was a gift from my friend Kira in Las Vegas, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. And I featured this plant actually in my favorites video earlier this year. So if you want to see how much it's grown, then go ahead and check out that video in my current fashion favorites. I hope you enjoyed all of the plants currently living in my home. I definitely love sharing it with you guys. If you want to see the rest of my plant collection, be sure to check out my patio collection and also my bathroom collection, where I share the rest of my plant collection on this channel. If you guys want to see more plant related videos, go ahead, subscribe to my channel, give this video a thumbs up. You can find more on my blog at ilovejewelyn.blogspot.com. Until next time, aloha, bye.